Welcome the students of class 8. Welcome to our social science e-learning class. And today in this class, I am going to discuss social science history, a new chapter from that subject, and it is chapter number 5. And the name of the chapter is When People Rebel. It's in page number 51. And what is the main topic in this chapter? That 1857 and after. You know that in 1857, a Sepoy mutiny occurred when all the kings and nawabs lost their power, and also the Sepoy, the army men, also so much disturbed and angry on their superiors. So what are the policies and the people? Okay, so what are the policies that helped to grew the anger among the army men and as well as the Indian rulers before the 1857? So let's check. So in the previous chapters you looked about the policies of East India Company, such as the policy of paramountcy, the doctrine of lapse, as well as the subsidiary alliance. Okay, so these three policies had a great effect, and they had on different people: kings, queens, peasants, landlords, tribals, soldiers were all affected in different ways by these policies of British East India Company. You also have seen how people, they resist policies and actions that harm their interests or go against their sentiments. Now, Nawabs lose their power. This is the first point from this subunit, that since the end of 18th century, Nawabs and Rajas had seen their power eroded, such as they had gradually lost their authority and honor, and British residents had been stationed in many courts. In many courts, British residents stationed as per the subsidiary alliance. Okay, and the freedom of the rulers reduced, their armed forces disbanded, and they were allowed only a few soldiers who were appointed actually from the British East India Company, and they had to pay for that army. Okay, and their revenues and territories taken away by stages. So different revenue policies such as Mahalwari, the permanent settlement, as well as the Rayatwadi settlement took away their powers. Okay, so many ruling families tried to negotiate with the company to project their interests. Okay, for example, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted that company would agree on her hire, that is her son, adopted son, as the heir of the kingdom after her death and after the death of her husband. But it was denied by the British East India Company, so that's why they fought in the battle. Okay, Battle of Gwalior occurred, and they captured Jhansi, and in the Battle of Gwalior, Jhansi of Rani killed. Okay, as well as the Nana Sahib. Nana Sahib is the adopted son of Bajirao II. Okay, I have already told you the conflict between the Raghunath Rao and Bajirao II for the throne of Peshwa. Okay, so finally the British took the side of the British took the side of the son of Raghunath Rao, and finally the Peshwa Bajirao II got the post of Peshwa, and after his death the Peshwa post abolished, and the Maratha kingdom merged with the British Empire, and the ruler of Maratha kingdom, that is the descendants of Shivaji Maharaj, they were sent to the Satara as a small princely state. Okay, So Nana Sahib also sent to Kanpur, near Kanpur, with a small pension, and he also pleaded that he be given his father's pension when the latter died. However, the company, confident of its superiority and military powers, turned down that these pleas. Okay. So Awadh was one of the last territories to be annexed in 1801, and what is the excuse? That is misgovernance. A subsidiary alliance was imposed on Awadh also, and Wajid Ali Shah forced to accept that, and in 1856 it was taken over. So, and Governor General Dalhousie declared that the territory was being misgoverned by the, and British rule was needed to ensure proper administration of the Awadh region. So the company even began the plan how to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end, and the name of the Mughal king was removed from the coins minted by the company. And in 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of Red Fort and given another place in Delhi to reside. It's a very humiliating for the Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay. So in 1856, Governor General Lord Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king, and after his death, none of his descendants would be recognized as kings. So they would just be called as prince or princess. So these all incidents, one by one, create anger among the Indian nobility and Indian royalties, such as in Jhansi, in Kanpur, in Delhi, in Awadh, everywhere. So all these things together create tension, and this tension turned into the Sepoy Mutiny, and this led to all the incidents towards Sepoy Mutiny. So this is the number one reason that of Sepoy Mutiny, that Nawabs and the regional kings lose their power. This is the number one reason of the Sepoy Mutiny. I hope you have understood. Next class we will discuss the peasants and the sepoys, the reason behind the mutiny related to the peasant community and as well as the sepoy. So that's all from today's class. I hope you have understood. Thank you for watching.